Good morning, about 5:45 a.m. I'm up on Sydney's northern beaches at a place called Long Reef. Just walked up from the car park. It's about a 500 metre sort of trek, and really windy up here, quite cold as well. I think it's about 6 or 7 degrees. Tide's on its way out. There's a very thick band of cloud on the horizon, so I'm not sure if we're going to see any sunrise this morning or how much colour we're going to see. The good thing about this location is there's a lot of different options, so I'm going to sort of have a bit of a wander around now and see if I can find a composition I'm happy with. I've got quite a few lenses with me here today, so yeah, I'll have a bit of a look around and see what I can find that's worthwhile shooting, and then I'll walk you through my setup and what it is that I'm doing. So one of the cool things about this location is there are a lot of options to shoot, and I checked the tides last night. The tide's on its way out, and low tide is in about 4 hours time, so we're probably about, you know, a third to two-thirds of the way through the tide, maybe half. But I can see the sun's already starting to rise, so I've got to move relatively quick or I'm going to miss out on my opportunity to take a shot. I'm just trying to work out what to shoot or which composition, because, and this is the challenge, you know, is these places change over time. I haven't been here for a few years, and so I'm just looking for a really good composition, something that's going to work. And there's quite a lot of different options, which also isn't a great thing, because it means that it gets harder and harder to choose what to shoot, you know. So I'll just show you sort of what's out here. So you can sort of see a bit of a headland. There's some rocks just out here. If the tide's low enough, I'll be able to walk out there and maybe get some photos of the water going over the rocks. You've got this path going down here, which you know, can make quite a nice leading line along with that fence line there. Down here, there's sort of a beachy area down there with some rocks and stuff. So there's a lot of different options. So I'm just sort of thinking I'll go down the bottom and shoot from down there, I think. So we get the water crashing over some of the rocks, and I'm thinking because the sunrise is not going to be spectacular, it may still be okay colour wise. There's a little bit of colour coming up on the horizon, but because the sunrise isn't going to be a spectacular sunrise, I can tell that because the sky above me is crystal clear. I'm going to try and include a lot more foreground interest, so the water crashing over the rocks is going to be quite a handy thing to have. So we'll go and see if we can find a composition that's down there on the beach where the rocks are, and get all that whitewash and capture the movement of the water. Let's see how we go. So I'm just having a look to see whether or not it's too deep for me to cross to the rocks, and I think it's going to be too deep. So if you can see over here, there's like a rock shelf out there, and this water here, it's just like, it's the top of a reef, but it's not really a coral reef or anything. It's just rocks. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get across. I think it's going to be too deep for me. I'll get way too wet. But yeah, it's definitely still too deep for me to cross. So you can sort of see that's the rocks out there that are really good to get out to shoot, but we're not going to get out there this morning, so we're now going to have to go and find something else. Yeah, there's another spot over here where I've shot before. It's quite interesting, a lot of nice rocks, water crashing on the rocks. I'm going to go there because I am starting to run out of time now. The light's really starting to pick up, so I need to hurry up. So what I've decided to do is come back up the hill a bit, and I'm going to shoot a panoramic image including the path, because there's just nothing too exciting down there. I've got my Nikon D810 set up. with the tilt shift, 45mm tilt shift, and I'm going to do a panoramic image. I'm not real confident we're going to get much colour as that sun comes up. Sunrise is in a few minutes, but if you have a look, there's so much cloud on the horizon that I don't think we're going to see the sun. So I'll just talk you through my composition a little bit so you get an idea. You can see my camera set up there over my shoulder. But what I like to do in compositions is I like to have a bit of interesting foreground and sometimes leading lines. So you can see that this path over here, or this handrail, sort of leads your eye down into the image, and the path itself leads your eye into the image as well. There's some foreground interest as well. So what all this foreground does is the foreground gives the image some perspective. So rather than just having an image of and it's a beautiful spot, right? So you can point the camera in just about any direction here and you're going to get a good shot. But what I rather do is I like to make the viewer of my photos feel like they're standing there. And the way to do that, I think, is to really immerse them in the image by giving them that opportunity, so the perspective is there. So by having a pathway with some steps, some lush greenery that's up close, a handrail that leads the eye into the distance, because your brain sort of knows roughly what space apart these pylons are going to be. And so what that does is your brain starts to work out the depth of the image, and it creates this sense of actually standing in the image. And when you get that three-dimensional thing happening, I think that's where the magic happens in a photo. So that's typically what I'm trying to do. Looking at this cloud on the horizon, as you can see, actually it's pretty hard to see because of the exposure of this little camera, but there is a lot of cloud on the horizon, and I really doubt that we're going to get a sunrise of any spectacular proportion this morning. I think what's going to happen is the sun's actually going to show up just on the top of the clouds. It's going to be way too intense for us to do anything, and yeah, if nothing else, we've had a good morning. Beautiful spot, got up early and enjoyed the sunrise. A lot of people don't get to see this time of the day, and I think it's a fabulous time of day. So something I don't do very often is move positions. But this morning is one of those mornings where I feel like I'm just not going to get a nice shot facing that way. So I'm going to take advantage of this morning light, and I've moved to over here, where this is sort of the the beach area, the bay and the point. And if you have a look, the horizon's got a bit of colour on it. Still nothing spectacular, but I'm going to give it a go and just see what happens. I'll walk you through my composition and my settings just so you get a feel for what I'm doing. I think the thing that attracted to me there was a bit of colour in the sky as the sun comes up. I can now see over here behind these clouds the sun's coming up, but there's not going to be any spectacular colour this morning. But I'll walk you through my settings. With the D810, one of the good things I like about the D810 is the ISO goes down to 64. So every camera has a base ISO, and a lot of them are 200. Some of them are 100, but the D810 goes right down to ISO 64, which I really like. I've got this on full manual mode, so whenever I use the tilt shift lens, I take an exposure reading or a meter reading off the middle setting. So as I move the lens and shift it left and right, what actually happens as I'm doing that is the exposure changes. So I don't know if you can see the exposure bar there moving. So what I do is I take an exposure off the middle and get that, so using the meter reading, so I can see that that's a little overexposed. So typically I'll, it just depends on what I'm after. I will usually wind up the aperture a bit to give me a better depth of field, and then what I'll do is I'll slow down the shutter speed to bring more light in, something like that. So there's quite a nice colour there in the sky now, so I'm going to take some shots. I'm bracketing, so I'm doing HDR, and I'm using a remote. So I just hit the remote, and the remote does the work. Like you'll see, it'll go again now, another 3 shots, and I'll take another 3 shots, and that's really quite nice, the colour that's in the sky there now. So hopefully that'll work out, and we'll have a nice panoramic image for our troubles this morning. Got up at 4 AM, and you never know what you're going to get. That's landscape photography. So So yesterday I got home and there was this great big box that had been delivered, and I was really excited like a kid at Christmas time because I had ordered a new camera bag. And I don't know about you as a photographer, but for me, one of the struggles I've had is finding a camera bag that I'm happy with. And I've tried a few different ones, but I've never ever been able to justify the amount of money that some of these bags are. I just didn't want to spend the money. And you know, kind of crazy really, you know, I spent a lot on a good tripod, a good camera, all the lenses, all the gear to take great photos, and I was using a Lower Pro Vertex 200 all-weather bag, which is a good bag, but it has its limitations and it was giving me a sore back. So I thought maybe I need one that's more hiking related, and I know F-Stop make a great range of bags, so guess what? I got online and I bought myself this bag. Now this is an F-Stop bag, and it's more like a hiking bag. I really like it actually, and I won't do a review of it or anything like that today. I've only just started using it, but I'll give you a quick look. The thing I like about it is it's very much like a hiking bag, and it has these things inside which are called ICUs, or internal camera units. So this whole unit comes out. It's just a separate, it's like a separate bag inside a bag. So you can get different size units that allow you to pack depending on what you're doing. Now, I've actually got my Fuji system in here, I've got my Nikon system in here, and my vlogging setup fits in here as well. And the reason I like it, not only does it seem to be really comfortable, but it has room for other things. So rather than my Low Pro bag that just had room for camera gear and that was it, this bag allows you to sort of put hiking gear in there, water, you know, jumpers, jackets, beanies, torches, whatever you like. Because it doesn't just have these compartments. So the Low Pro bag, you know, had fixed compartments in it, meant that it was difficult to even put a beanie in. You know, I used to lay the beanie across the top of the camera gear, which was a pain. Same with the jacket. If I wanted to get in there and grab something, I had to move everything out of the way, where this is just a really good system. And so I think what I'll do is I'll use it for a while, and then I will do a review in a month or so once I've used it. By the way, I got the F-Stop bag 20% off. If you're in Australia, it was Paxton's eBay store. They had 20% off their F-Stop gear. I don't know how long it's going to be on for, but if you're wanting to get an F-Stop bag or a new ICU for your current F-Stop bag, 20% off, hard to beat that. Very rare you find that. Well, that concludes another morning of photography. Unfortunately, sunrise was a bit of a fizzer this morning, but you know what, I still love getting out and about. I think it's great. I think it's good to come out and enjoy a bit of the outdoors. Great way to start the day. It would be easy to stay in bed, that's for sure, but you'd miss some amazing stuff if you did. So, still glad I got up, but yeah, pretty much a fizzer of a morning as far as photography goes. We'll go home and see what we managed to capture, and just hope that we got something worthwhile. You know, it's one of those things I think a lot of people don't realise with landscape photography is you've got to come out, you know, a good dozen times and really give it a good red hot go just to get one amazing image. That's how it works, unfortunately. That is just how it works. So if you're not prepared to put in the work to get that one image, you just won't get it, you know. It's just how it is. It's a bit like fishing. I used to be quite into fishing, and there'd be times I'd go fishing and catch nothing, but there'd be other times I'd go fishing and we'd get a great haul of fantastic fish. And to me, photography is a bit like that. It requires the same level of patience and regular trips to your favourite photography spots to get those shots, you know. Just how it works. Really love this bag. Well, I hope you enjoyed that this morning. I know we didn't get a fantastic sunrise, but it's always good to come out and about and have a go at taking a shot. So yeah, enjoy. See you later.